Welcome to Eclectic American Roots, our weekly series on roots music of all kinds. I'm Christopher Burkhardt, and I want to thank you in advance for your generous donations today as we continue to help struggling musicians during this damn panic. Today we head to the Texas-Mexico border region where a rollicking and rambunctious combination of polka and traditional Mexican music was created 200 years ago. It's known today as Tex Mex music. Now, if you're like me, Tex Mex also conjures up images of smoky barbecue, cheese enchiladas, and Lone Star beer. But for an even tastier treat, we are exploring the roots of Tex Mex music today, and we'll learn how folk, rock, and country music combine to create the perfect party soundtrack. Tex Mex is jaunty, folklorico pop, created by the Mexican-American populations of central and southern Texas. It originates in the marriage of the conjunto and tejano styles, collectively known as Tex-Mex. Think about this. Tex-Mex originated on the rancheros and in the honky-tonks of the Southwest, those dusty, smoky halls where the working class spent their off time. Since the beginning, the button accordion has been central to the acoustic conjunto sound and was made popular by the early German settlers who brought their polka music to Texas. Add that to the oversized 12-string bajo sexto guitar, and you get a unique sound that has influenced modern musicians like that Tex-Mex supergroup, the Texas Tornadoes, and bands like Los Lobos, Rick Treviño, and the Mavericks. Tex-Mex's best-known accordion players include Flaco Jimenez, David Lee Garza, and Josh Baca, among many others. It's a unique Texas-based music tradition that continues to evolve and thrive today. More recently, Tex-Mex has had some influence from rock and jazz, giving it a more progressive style and sound. So grab yourself a cold one, fire up the barbecue, and join us for some rollicking Tex-Mex music.
Howdy, my friends. Big Sandy here, excited to share this week's video treasures as we explore the roots of Tex-Mex music. My drink in hand, I hope you do too. A lot to cover, so let's just dive right in. For almost 100 years now, the Jimenez family of San Antonio has played an extremely important role in the formation and then further development of Texas conjunto music. Learning from his father, Patricio, it was in Santiago Sr.'s hands that the music really started to take shape and develop its own sound. So let's drop in on Santiago Jimenez right now as we pay tribute to the Jimenez family.
My father used to play the accordion, and a friend of his played the guitar. They just played just in houses. You know, they used to have dances. They don't use no amplifier, no nothing like that. Just guitar and accordion. That's all.
What were the dances like in the old days?
Well, they used to have dances outside. You know, sometimes they start 8 o'clock, and 7 o'clock in the morning they were still dancing.
nos vamos a entender. Esas rosas que tienes en tu casa son bonitas como eres tú también. Si las riego las veces que yo pase, yo quisiera que fueras mi mujer. Me retiro, pues pronto doy la vuelta para verte y darte mi querer. No te olvides que soy tu jardinero y necesito el amor de una mujer.
All right, that was Santiago Jimenez Jr. in that clip. And also in the clip before that, that was Santiago Jr. playing along with his father. And of the two brothers, Santiago Jr. and Flaco Jimenez, it was Jr. that stuck the closest to his father's traditional style of playing. But that's not to say that Flaco turned his back on that traditional style. Actually, he sort of held on to just enough of that tradition while mixing it with other styles over the years. And that, mixed in with his like bubbling personality and devilish charm, ended up making him one of the most popular Tex-Mex artists in the world, of all time, really. So how about a double helping of Flaco Jimenez right now? I dig it.
Desde Laredo a San Antonio yo he venido a casarme con mi chelcha. Y no he podido por ser mojado, pues para todo me exigen la licencia. Se me hizo fácil comprar un carro para sacar a pasear a mi presencia. Y por la noche voy a dar al bote porque no traiga ni luces ni licencia. Al fin de todo salí del bote con muchas ganas de ver a mi chelcha. La hallé paseando con un caballo en
cosa de vergüenza. Estos caballos son abusados, perdí mi carro y me quitaron a Chencha.
Me dicen Tex Mex porque soy tejano y soy mexicano, los dos a la vez. Mi papá y mi mamá nacieron allá en Nuevo Laredo y yo nací por acá. Yo soy mexicano de acá de Texas, me gusta el trago y me encantan las viejas. Me dicen Tex Mex porque toco el sax, les canto en chicano igual que en inglés. I'm a Mexican from Texas and they call me Tex Mex en chicano o en inglés. Mis padres se vinieron desde México y yo nací juntito al Álamo. Todas las chavalas que vienen a Dallas les gusta bailar al estilo Tex Mex. En Houston también les gusta el baile de polka tejana tocada con sax. Bonito es el valle de allá de Texas, qué alegres bailes, qué chulas sus viejas. Soy el Tex Mex y toco mi sax. Les canto en chicano igual que en inglés. If you love me, darling, don't forsake me. I'll be waiting by the Alamo. Que en un tiempo Texas fue de México, no más que Santana la regó.
And all right, that was a little bonus I threw in there. Watching that second Flaco clip with all those records being pressed got me a little excited. And I just had to put together that little tribute to some of the great record labels of Tex-Mex music. All right, friends, a little break, and I'll be back in just a little bitty bit with some more great Texican music.
Hey everybody, it's time to meet our host today, the band leader of the Grammy Award-winning Los Tex Maniacs, prominent purveyors of the true folklorico Tex-Mex sound.
You know, this music we're playing, it's called Tex Mex Conjunto Music, and came around the turn of the century. It was influenced by the Germans and the Czechs and the Polish that settled in Texas. And there was a couple of guys, one by the name of Narciso Martinez, along with Santiago Jimenez Sr., Flaco Jimenez's daddy, and we're listening to the sounds of the Germans play, and we decided to pick up an accordion and play as well. But what we did different was incorporate the instrument that I'm playing here called the bajo sexto, which is a 12-string guitar with bass strings and guitar strings, and it was designed to take the place of the left-hand side of the accompaniment part of the accordion, because when the Germans would play, they'd accompaniment themselves, something like this. So the bajo sexto took the place of that. Therefore, we created our own style, our own sound, and we called it Tex-Mex. And back in the days when the migrant farm workers were working the fields, and this was our means of entertainment, and we'd have these barn dances and so forth, and this is what it sounded like way back then. 1, 2, 3.
Max had been playing in Albuquerque with his brother in the popular band Los Hermanos Baca, when extraordinary accordionist Flaco invited him to come to San Antonio and play baja sexto in his band.
That beat, you know, that when you hear it, you just want to go to the dance floor and start dancing.
Max was a lifetime fan of Flaco, so he made the move. Flaco showed him the old techniques of the bajo sexto and encouraged him to play all 12 strings.
Proper way to play a bajo sexto, you know, is with, it's got 12 strings on it, and so all, you know, they're there for a reason, you know, you got to play all 12, you know, and some people take the strings off and they just use, you know, so many, the bottom 4 or 3 or whatever, but, you know, back when there was no bass guitars and it was just the accordion and the bajo, man. You know, perfect example. One of my idols was Santiago Almeida, was Narciso Martinez's bajo player, man. That guy was he was a rocker, man. He was rocking out on that bajo sexto back then, you know, because there was no bass, you know. So he was kind of like.
Max loved playing with Flaco, but he also wanted to keep the creative flame of the famed Texas Tornadoes alive in his own work when he decided to create Los Tex Maniacs in 1997. His concept was to keep the rock and roll dimension of his music going, while at the same time sticking to the roots of conjunto music, especially the accordion and bajo sexto elements.
Por destino soy americano, yo soy de la raza de oro, yo soy México-americano. Yo te comprendo en inglés.
The band became popular, toured the world, and appeared on countless stages promoting Tex-Mex music. Los Tex Maniacs Grammy Award came 13 years later in 2010. They won for Tejano Album of the Year, Orders and Bailes, the second of 2 Smithsonian Folkways albums they recorded. The 18-song collection features a blend of polka, boleros, ballads, and Western swing, drawing from the rich tradition of Tex-Mex culture and signaling a new social relevance and creative expansion. Today, Los Tex Maniacs includes Max's nephew, Josh Baca, on accordion. He's a protege of Flaco and helps continue Max's stated goal to do hip music that everybody in the world can relate to with the traditional conjunto elements without losing the cultural touchstone of true Tex-Mex. Ladies and gentlemen, San Antonio's Max Baca.
And thank you, Christopher. Thanks so much, man. I'm very honored to be here. Max Baca. And wow, man, it's just great. We got a great show lined up for you folks. How about we start the show with a special video for you guys? Check it out. All right, folks, I'm Max Baca.
Josh Baca.
And we are
Los Tex Maniacs.
Thank you, Richmond, for having us. And also thank you for the NCTA for having us out here at your folk festival. Thank you so much. We really appreciate it. We're Los Tex Maniacs. We're going to play a little traditional Tex-Mex music for you guys. Voy a cantar estos versos, aunque yo no soy de aquí. Yo soy puro mexicano, soy de San Luis Potosí. Caminando y caminando, he llegado a San Antonio. Me encontré muy buen trabajo y también con el demonio. Found me a little tejanita and I fell in love with her. She was so bonita that I had to marry her. Then she took off to Laredo and she called me from Nuevo León. She said, send me some more money
I can come back home. Ya me voy para mi tierra, aunque pobre es mi nación, pero sí les aseguro que allá manda el pantalón. Ay, les dejo a mi tejana, no la pude soportar. Ay, que la torre y el diablo, a ver si la puede aguantar. Now I'm back in my homeland, back where I was born. One thing I know for sure now, men here wear the pantalon. I left her in old San Antonio, 'cause I could not afford her. Ay, que la torre y el diablo, a ver si la puede aguantar. She belongs to El Diablo. You can have her, I don't want her anymore. Oh, yeah. Hey, folks, Max Baca from Los Tex Maniacs, and want to introduce my my special guest is my good friend from Poteet, Texas. One of the probably the king of Tejano music, Mr. David Lee Garza. And the reason I say that is because he has single-handedly been in this business for so many years, and he has Grammys to prove it. And also, he's been like what can I say, a launching pad for so many other artists that have made it in the Tejano industry, and it's due to David Lee Garza. On behalf of Max Baca, I'd like to introduce my very special guest from Poteet, Texas, the one and only Mr. David Lee Garza.
How you doing, Max? How are you?
I'm doing fine. Thanks for being a part of this, David. It means so much to me. I said, well, there has to be the one and only Mr. David Lee Garza, because in this neck of the woods in Texas, when it comes to Texas, David Lee Garza is the man. You know, so.
Thank you so much. Appreciate the invite.
What you've been doing, you know, now that this pandemic's been going on, and I know a while back, I guess about a month ago, we got together and we did a surprise, or not a surprise, but a private show together, and that was really fun. But what you been doing since then, brother?
Well, just been trying to stay busy. All I can do is hang around here, hang around the house, which I enjoy, you know, because I've been doing this so long. I've been doing this for 52 years, Max, you know, and when this pandemic, when all this happened with this coronavirus and everything, put a stop to our gigging and everything, right? The last gig we had was March the 14th, I believe. So it was a break, you know, and even my mom asked me, do you miss the road? Do you miss performing? And I said, yeah, I miss performing, Mom, but I really don't miss the road a whole lot, because how long have I been doing this, Mom? And she said, well, a long time. I said, yeah, 52, 53 years coming here in December. So I needed this little break, man, and it's really, really relaxing, you know, to not worry about, oh, man, I got to get back on the road on Thursday or Friday or Saturday or Sunday. So just kicking back here at home right now, enjoying what I've been missing, I guess, you know, is just great.
Yes, yeah, I hear you. You've been have you happened to be working on in your studio or anything, like coming up new recordings or anything?
Yes. Right when everything stopped, I said, you know what, this is a perfect time to go in the studio and start recording our next project. So yeah, we got busy in the studio and actually finished the next CD that we don't have a name for so far, just yet. We launched one single. It was a medley of songs that we did back in 1983 to 88 era when Emilio Navaja was the vocalist of the Musical. We re-recorded 4 songs that he sang with us, and we put it out. We put it actually out on a drop card, and we've been, selling that online and everything. And then, like I said, we recorded the whole CD. So the rest of the songs, they're done. We're just gonna probably release 2 or 3 more singles and then release a CD. Because our main sales are when we gig at the gigs. And that's where we sell our CDs, the actual CD. Of course, we're everywhere online. On the Spotify's and the CD Babies and the iTunes and everything. But a lot of fans that follow the Musicales, they want a hard copy. They want the actual CD. So, I mean, the only way, like I said, the advantage we had was when we were gig, that's when we would sell them. And right now we're not gigging anywhere. So we're going to hold off on that just for maybe 2 or 3 more months.
Right on, right on. The conjunto that were just 4-piece bajo sexto accordion, drums, bass. And then David Lee, when you want to explain, David, like you kind of branched out and made your conjunto what they call progressive, right? It was you kind of got more progressive and created your style, a modern style that's unique. You had incorporated saxophone and somewhat of keyboards and stuff, right?
Right. Yeah, we started, like you say, a 4-piece band, the bajo sexto and accordion. And then we got my cousin Oscar to start playing saxophone, and we got a guitar player. I always liked the way the accordion and the guitar sounded together. So we got a guitar player, and then later on, we added a keyboard. So we weren't a conjunto anymore. We used to call our band a grupo musical.
You just released a single, right? The new single.
Correct.
You want to talk about that?
Yeah, this is a song off the last CD that we've done. It's called Estéame. It's a songwriter right here from San Antonio. He's actually from Peru, but lives in San Antonio. Ahmed Tustan. He's an excellent songwriter. We recorded another cumbia of his, which I didn't realize it was his cumbia. Mi corazón hace tun tun. So, and he gave us this other song. It's called Estéame. It's our latest video, and I hope you all like it. Here it is.
David Lee Garza y los Musicales.
Destellame con el candor de tu cuerpo, amor, destellame. Con el lucero de tus ojos, apúntame. Da en el fondo de mi corazón, destellame. Destellame. Con el escote de tu espalda, amor, destellame. Con la abertura de tu falda, enloquéceme. Que el sol parezca alumbramiento sobre mí. Hazme el amor en luna llena, en un portal lleno de estrellas, que en esta vida no hay más pronto amanecer que tu luz. Destellame, que estoy muriendo por tus besos. Con tu presencia al caminar, amor, destellame. Con tu inocencia al besar, sedúceme. Quiero beber de esa flor que tú me das. Destellame. Con el escote de tu espalda, amor, destellame. Con la abertura de tu falda, enloquéceme. que el sol parezca alumbramiento sobre mí. Hazme el amor en luna llena, en un portal lleno de estrellas, que en esta vida no hay más pronto amanecer que tu luz. Destéllame, que estoy muriendo por tus besos. Destéllame.
First albums, with the Bajo Sexto with your dad on it, man, it really stuck out. You could hear the Bajo in there, really cool, man. And I've always been attracted to that sound, man. And David Lee Garza,
Yeah, we try to actually blend both bajo and guitar. You know, the first band that I heard do that was like Conjunto Bernal. I saw an album and they had a bajo sexto and they had a guitar, and I loved the way it sounded. You know, but of course we couldn't never duplicate Conjunto Bernal. You never can, but you know that I had a bajo and a guitar at the same time, and I liked that sound. So yeah. And then my dad, I have to admit that my dad's bajo sexto really stood out in a lot of the recordings, Hacienda, as well as in the Cara records, and then further into the Capitol records also.
Yeah, the sound was. I mean, me as a bajo sexto player, your dad's sound was it had a real rich, thick sound to it, man, and it stuck out. You know, there's a lot of bajos that are thin sounding or crisp, you know, and no body or beef, but your dad had the beef. You know, he had the and plus he had the heart and soul.
Yeah.
Man, so, I was honored to be a part of one of your recordings. I don't know if you remember. I was on tour with you because Billy, your bajo player, couldn't do the show. He was on vacation, so he asked me to sit in for the weekend, and then we were on the bus, and then I approached you. I said, "Hey, man, David, I've recorded with a lot of artists, man, but I've never recorded with you, man." And then you said, "Hey, well, I'm going to be in the studio next week, man. Come by." And I got to record with David Lee Garza, which I'm very honored on that. And we were nominated for Latin Grammy together.
Yeah, we were.
We were sitting next to each other, man, at the Grammys. I remember, man, and then you got the Grammy, and I was happy, man. And got up there.
We were all sitting together, huh? Us and yourself and David Farias, and Shaggy Garcia.
That's right.
Shaggy Garcia and them, yeah. So we're all sitting together, you know, little groups from Texas right there together now. I was just very blessed to have won that year with Just Friends.
Yes.
It was a CD, yeah. And I actually got three of them. Two of them I won with Joel Guzman. And it was for Gritos y Acordeones, yeah.
What a great album! It was a cool album, man.
Yeah, it was a cool. So I won those two in like within a year, right? Because the Latin Grammys and the American Grammys. So I won two within a year, and then it took me a while, and then I won this last one with Just Friends.
Right on. 1392 was one of the albums, one of my all-time favorites. Had just every song on that recording was a radio hit, man. Is there anything that you want to say? Introduce the next song, and maybe say una despedida or something. Or...
Sure. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to come and be on this show here with you. This interview, enjoyed it, man. We covered a lot actually in this short time. But this last video that we're going to introduce, we did it at Willie Nelson's ranch, you know, and we were shooting that the horse at the intro when I was on a horse and Willie Nelson comes by driving by, and I was like, should I get off the horse? It took me about an hour to get on it, and I said, I just said hello from the horse. I said, "Hi, Mr. Nelson. Thank you so much for letting us use your place," you know. And he just smiled, laughed, and you know, "No, you're more than welcome anytime."
He didn't pass you a joint?
Oh, no. If you did, I didn't catch it. You know, I was on a horse. I was holding on for dear life with both hands. Yeah, no. So we enjoyed it. We enjoyed it doing it. It took us all the whole part of the day, man, to do it. But we had a great time. My dad is on that video also. My uncle and another friend. You know, we took them as step in there that around the bar scene. So we enjoy doing this video. It's called Tonta. We hope you enjoyed it too. Thank you.
Thank you, David.
¿Quieres perder todo lo que traes?
All right, round two. Hope you're with me. Listen, Valerio Longoria was born in 1924 in Kennedy, Texas. A curious young kid. He took apart a harmonica, put it back together just to figure out how it worked. His father bought him an accordion. He did the same thing, just tried to figure out the inner workings. And throughout his career, he was constantly modifying his accordion, always reaching for a new sound. He was one of the first to add vocals to conjunto music, which was originally an instrumental tradition, and he was the first to add drums. But here he is in the living room, just playing on his own, a man and his accordion. Yeah, now. Once again, Valerio Longoria, and that time in a classic meetup between two accordion legends from two different generations. And if you didn't recognize them, that was Steve Jordan, often called the Jimi Hendrix of the accordion. for his fiery technique and his experimentation with rock music and other styles. Let's take a look at Steve Jordan at a little younger age, this time playing with Corpus Christi bandleader Isidro Lopez. And in this clip, I really dig Isidro's laid-back approach contrasted against Steve Jordan's kinetic style of playing. And I also like the back of Isidro's shirt. You'll see what I mean.
Sufriendo y penando, pero por amor ajeno, pobre de mí porque lloro y no me han de consolar. Pueden pensar lo que quieran, si yo sé que me condeno a la tristeza más grande que en el mundo pueda hallar. Como si andaras conmigo, tienes marcada la vida. Como si andara contigo, quieren que yo me despida. Ay, corazón traicionero, me vas a comprometer. Antes me harán prisionero que dejarte de querer.
Anda todo alborotado por volver. Voy camino a la locura y aunque todo me tortura, sé querer. Nos dejamos hace tiempo, pero se llegó el momento de perder. Tenías mucha razón, le doy caso al corazón y me muero por volver. Y volver a tus brazos otra vez. Llegaré hasta donde esté, yo sé perder, quiero volver, volver. Se llegó el momento de perder. Tú tenías mucha razón, le hago caso al corazón y me muero por volver. Y volver a tus brazos otra vez. Hasta donde estés, yo sé perder, quiero volver.
man they called the Hurricane of the Valley, Narciso Martinez, playing in a bar that I'd love to go to right now. We can't go to any bars now. But anyway, that's Narciso in his later days. He had been making records since the 30s. And when World War II rolled around, the lack of materials led to an almost complete shutdown of production of records. But when the war was over, Narciso was one of the first out of the gate to resume making records, and that really helped his popularity in the playing dances, and not only in that region, but led to him touring through New Mexico and even into California. The Hurricane of the Valley, Narciso Martinez. Before that, norteño favorites, Los Alegres de Terán. And their music was very popular with the laborers of their region. And the migrant workers took Los Alegres music with them, took the records with them as they traveled looking for work throughout Texas. And then eventually throughout a lot of the rest of the U.S. And even today, I find some of their records in secondhand stores. Interesting thing. Okay, a quick pause for the cause for me, and then I'll be back with the amazing Lydia Mendoza.
If he brings you happiness, then I wish you all the best. It's your happiness that matters most of all. Wasted days and wasted nights that I have left for you behind. I can't remember when I didn't love you. There was a time I thought you felt the same. Holy One, you'll never know how much I love you so. And I'll be there before the next teardrop falls.
Now let's look at the roots of that supergroup, the Texas Tornadoes. But first, is anybody going to San Antone? As producer of this show, I get to play you my all-time favorite Texas Tornadoes video, and here it is.
Man, I'm tired of being on the road, man. I want to be home.
I'll tell you what, thinking about going home, I'd like to go back to my mama's grocery store and sit on the back porch.
Yeah.
That's what I miss.
Man, you know what I miss?
What?
Tamales.
Tamales?
San Antone tamales.
Did I hear something about tamales, guys? Yeah. Hey, let's go. Come on.
Ándale.
Charlotte's call today. Here I am walking down 66, where she hadn't done me this way. Sleeping under a table in a roadside park, a man to wake up dead. But it sure seemed warmer than it did sleeping in your water bed. Is anybody going to San Antone? Phoenix, Arizona, any place is alright as long as I forget I've never known her.
Hi, this is my mama's grocery store up here, and I used to work at this place every morning for years. This is where I met Doug Sahm. He used to come in and buy baseball cards. And right across the street's a washateria. We used to sing in there for everybody that's washing clothes.
Winter whipping down the neck of my shirt, like I ain't got nothing on. Well, I'd rather fight the wind and rain than what I was fighting at home. Is anybody going to San Antone or Phoenix, Arizona? Any place is alright as long as I forget I've never
pedal of the band?
Yeah, 59, man.
That's right.
We set up right there.
You sang that.
Why? My hit, man.
On the end there goes a truck with the U.S. mail for people writing letters back home. Well, tomorrow she'll probably want me back, but I'll be just as gone. Is anybody going to San Antonio or Phoenix, Arizona? Any place is alright as long as I forget I've never known her.
¿Y aquí estaba tu casa más antes, Flaco?
Sí, fíjate que mi papá y yo hacíamos música cuando estaba bien. Oye,
¿Qué memorias no has de tener?
memorias bastantes.
La nostalgia.
Is anybody going to San Antonio?
I just think we're lucky now, though, man. We got to do that. We're still here being the Texas Tornadoes.
Oh, that's definitely.
I think we're really blessed cats for having that.
But sometimes it takes a little bit of talent to be lucky.
Yeah, it could be. You're right.
Especially my talent.
Well,
No, your talent.
that's
Your
debatable.
talent.
By now, it's pretty obvious that the Texas Tornadoes had a lot of fun in their careers. It all started with Texans Doug Sahm and Augie Meyers. Close friends and bandmates since high school, they created the famed Sir Douglas Quintet, who many people thought were the part of the British invasion of rock music, even though their drummer only spoke Spanish. She's About a Mover would be the biggest hit of their entire careers.
Ladies and gentlemen, lords and ladies, Hullabaloo proudly presents the Sir Douglas Quintet.
Well, she was walking down the street, looking fine as she could be. Hey, hey. Well, she was walking down the street, looking fine as she could be. Hey, hey. If you have love and conversation, whoa, yeah, what I say. Hey, hey, she's about a mover. She's about a mover. She's about a mover. She's about a mover. Hey, what I say. She's about a mover. She's about a mover. Well, you know I love you, baby. Whoa, yeah, what I say. Hey, hey. Well, just go on up to me and say, hey, big boy, what's your name? Hey, hey. Well, just go on up to me and say, hey, big boy, what's your name? Hey, hey. Well, you know I love you, baby. Whoa, yeah, what I say. Hey, hey. She's about a mover. She's about a mover. She's about a mover.
I suppose all you people assume that the Sir Douglas Quintet is from England. But I have a surprise for you. Believe it or not, these fellows are all from my home state of Texas. Isn't that amazing? Yeah. I bet we even fooled Linden. Anyway, we'll be right back with Dickie Carr and Herman's Hermits. They'll come back, yeah?
But wait, was that the original title? We asked keyboardist Augie Meyers to come on the show today to reveal the original name.
When we did She's About a Mover, that wasn't the original title. The original title was She's a Body Mover. But in 1965, you could not put that on.
Yeah. Wow. Check it out.
During their rock and roll stardom, the quintet was invited to play on TV for Hugh Hefner's Playboy After Dark. Augie tells us about that experience.
You've got the original group back together again. I wonder if tonight we could get you to do a number for us.
Sure, we don't have to right now.
Mm-hmm.
Sir Douglas Quintet is back. We'd like to thank all you beautiful people out there for all the beautiful vibrations. We love it. Teeny, my blood, my teenage lover, I'm caught going last night a single final one. You're such a groove, please don't move, please stay in my love house by the river. Last talking guys, strange and eyes, I'll put things in your head, it's not your mind to run. I love you so, please don't go, please stay here with me, Mendocino. Mendocino, Mendocino, when I touch the groove, you blow your mind in the morning. We used to walk through the park, make love along the way, Mendocino. I'm playing on it.
There was a time where y'all did some shows with the Hugh Hefner from Playboy. Can you talk a little bit about those? How did those come about?
Oh man, well he liked the quintet. He saw us somewhere in L.A. and he invited us to his house. We went to his home and he had a big party. I mean, Johnny Carson was there, Dean Martin was there. I mean, most of the big stars, and everybody snuggled. And I ain't gonna go on what went on and everything anymore, but it was different. And he said, "I want y'all on my TV show." So we went on his TV show, and we did the
What
show.
was it? Did they have it at the mansion? Did they host it there? Or
Well,
was
we
it
went to the mansion
studio?
to the party he had, but we did it at the studio. Back in those days, television shows lasted 5 days. You know, we did was it a Glenn Campbell show? We did a Playboy After Dark, and then there was Smothers Brothers. They had their show, and the Grateful Dead was on somebody else's show. And that Friday after all of us, he was all wrapped up and everything. Out of all of the shows, there were like 5 or 6 shows. They had a big festive food and everything. And the Grateful Dead spiked everything with acid. I mean, everybody was out of it.
Ooh.
It was fun. I guess I don't remember after that.
Augie and Doug would later return to chart success with the Grammy Award-winning Texas Tornadoes, a rowdy conjunto rock and roll band that they modeled on the Beatles, with Augie Meyers on Vox organ. The two reached out to Freddy Fender and Flaco Jimenez about joining forces in 1989 when Warner Brothers was looking to create some kind of a super group.
Well, let me tell you something. When we started out, Doug said, "Man, Warner Brothers wants to put a group together." He said, "Who do you want to get?" And I said, "Well, I don't know." He said, "Let's get Freddie." Well, Freddie's been a friend of me and Doug since we were 15 years old. And then he got him, and I said, "Well, why don't you get Flaco Jimenez?" And then we did. We went to San Francisco to Slim's. And we were only going to play Friday night. And Warner Brothers showed up, and the people around the corner, all the way around, waiting to get in. And we sold the show out, and they said, "Well, y'all play Saturday," and we did. Now, Freddie didn't know what to do. He brought his own band. And Doug said, "No, man, you got to get on the stage with us. We're putting a new band together." He said, "No, Vato, man, I got my own band." You know, but
that was a tough one there, man. I'll never forget that, because Freddie, Doug already had the chemistry down, man. You know, to have the Ernie Derwawa, Speedy Sparks, Louis Ortega, and those guys as a unit is amazing, you know. And then me on bajo, and then of course the 4 principal guys. But Freddie, you know, he wanted to be loyal and faithful to his band, his touring band that he played Vegas with all the time and stuff. And it just didn't fit with the Tornado sound, you know. And so So I remember at a time it got to the point to where we had 2 bands playing it on the band, man. We had 2 drummers, 2 bass players, you know. Freddie had a guitar player and a keyboard player. We had Alan Rich was playing with Freddie, and then Louis Ortega. So we had like 6 guitars at one time. We had 2 basses going, 2 drum sets. We did a couple of shows in Las Vegas, and the sound engineer, he quit. He said, I can't handle this. He quit, man.
The original Texas Tornadoes first played in 1989 at a concert in San Francisco, billing themselves as the Tex Mex Review. They enjoyed that collaboration so much, they decided to stick with it, and the Texas Tornadoes became more successful together than they ever would have solo.
Freddie had a bus that leaked diesel. And time everybody got off every time his band got off the bus, and I was on it a couple of times, we were either dizzy, we smelled like diesel, and then people would stay about 5 feet away from us. You know, that I thought they were going to catch a fire, but it was cool. It was fun while it lasted.
No wonder I slept all the time on that bus.
Oh, yeah.
They had a gas leak, man.
They all knew that the genuine bond they felt in their music could probably be taken to another level. The Texas Tornadoes were asked to perform all over the world, such as at the presidential inauguration of Bill Clinton, the Montreux Jazz Festival, and they also made regular appearances at Farm Aid. They won a Grammy Award in 1990 for Best Mexican American Performance.
Oh, the Bill Clinton inaugural ball we played, man. And I mean, it was, everybody was there, man. They had to shut the hotel down because Clinton was having dinner downstairs, and Augie was next to Flaco's room, and me and Flaco were jamming in the room. You know, nobody could leave. You couldn't leave because he's having dinner, and so they said, sorry, we can't. Nobody can leave the hotel. Can't leave the elevators. But we're gonna have dinner and room service free. So Flaco, man, he didn't want a steak dinner, man. He ordered like a couple of cases of beer, and so before you know it, all the Linda Ronstadt mariachis were in Flaco's room, and we're all jamming. And then Los Lobos guys comes in, and Augie was trying to sleep, and then Augie just opened the side door and he goes, "The hell with it, man."
But I woke up at 3 o'clock in the morning, 4 trumpets going at 4 o'clock in the morning. So I walked in the next room to Flaco and said, "Hey man, come on, there's all this beer bottles." I said, "Okay, let me put some clothes on."
And and so then Flaco, Augie drank a beer with us, and man, it was a hell of an adventure, man. You know, getting to meet the Allman Brothers, getting to meet so many bands, man. Willie Nelson got up and sang with us at the inaugural ball. Charlie Pride
was there.
Yeah, he sang that song that Doug used to like to sing. Is anybody
going to San Antonio?
The group's infectious, party-ready sound blended country, early rock and roll, Mexican folk, rhythm and blues, and whatever other roots music crossed their paths. But everybody just calls it Tex Mex.
If you got the dinero, I got my Camaro. Just flash some cash, we'll buy some gas, off we'll go. Bring all of your pesos, I supply all the bases. We'll go and buy some cerveza, ride up the mesa and watch the sun go down. If you got the dinero, I got my Camaro. Just flash some cash, we'll buy some gas, off we'll go. Flaco, Flaco.
People sometimes refer to their lyrics as Spanglish because of the mixture of English and Spanish in the same song. And how about those creative lyrics? Listen to this one written by Augie Meyers.
I met her tomatoes. I knew it wouldn't be very long. She walked to the mesa. I got my cerveza. I picked up the onions and limons. And the way she looked at me, man, I could clearly see that it wouldn't be very long. Guacamole, 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 guacamole. We'd be making guacamole all night long. Guacamole, 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 guacamole. We'd be making guacamole all night long. We started to back up. We headed on down the road. We went to Mecasa, ate tortillas de masa, and made guacamole all night long. Guacamole, 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 guacamole. We'd be making guacamole all night long. Guacamole, 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 guacamole. We'd be making guacamole all night long.
Their self-titled debut album was released in 1990 in both English and Spanish to rapturous reviews, and also sold pretty well, reaching number 25 on the country charts.
Hi, man. Nice
What are
to
you
see
saying?
First,
I look
nice
a little crazy
No, you
in
look
this
great.
outfit?
That's you.
I'm
That's
wearing
you.
this outfit.
Yeah. Where's Howdy?
I'm wearing this outfit for a specific reason, because
Yeah.
we have a group here, the Texas Tornadoes, and they're sitting in with us for the entire evening, and they are four of the prime proponents of the Tex Mex sound,
Here we
each
go.
of them
Okay.
a star
Call
in his
them out
own
right
right.
now.
Let me start in the front on the left. Ladies and gentlemen, the great Freddy Fender
Freddy,
is
nice
with
to
us
see you. How are you?
on guitar. In the back, on the accordion, the #1 Tex-Mex accordionist in the world, Flaco Jimenez on the accordion.
Flaco Jimenez. Nice to see you, Flaco. How are you?
On the far right in the back, if you can get to him, on the Vox Continental organ. This is the guy who played organ on all the great Tex-Mex records, and you're going to hear some of his stuff later on. It's the great Augie Meyers on the organ.
I thought that might be Augie.
And in the middle of those two, I don't know if you remember a little record called She's About a Mover, a record called Mendocino, a record called When the Rains Came. This is Sir Douglas of the Sir Douglas Quintet, Mr. Doug Sahm, ladies and gentlemen.
Doug, how are you? After long and successful individual careers, our next guests got together a year ago and made this album. Right here it is. It's called Texas Tornadoes. Ladies and gentlemen, please say hello to, do I name them again? Doug Sahm, Augie Meyers, Flaco Jimenez, and Freddy Fender. Texas Tornadoes. All right, kids.
Adios, Mexico.
the town. Now she started feeling low. Think I love her. Adios, Mexico. Adios, Mexico. Adios, Mexico. Yo no voy a hacerla, esto no lo sé yo. Adios, Mexico. Adios, Mexico. Adios, Mexico. Yo no voy a hacerla, esto no lo sé yo. Adios, Mexico.
From 1991 to 1996, the band toured together, but they also had their own projects to keep them busy, as Augie tells us. When the movie Tin Cup came out in 1996, the Tornadoes earned a spot on the movie soundtrack with this original song, A Little Bit Is Better Than Nada.
Met her in a border town. We proceeded to get down. She turned me on. I dropped the telephone. Moonlight hits the Rio Grande, and the touch of her hand, it makes me high, like the 4th of July. A bad bandito came into town. Man, I'm gonna hunt that gringo down. But these words keep ringing in my head. A little bit is better than nada. Sometimes you want the whole enchilada.
The group's late 1998 concert at Antone's in Austin was recorded and released the following summer as Live from the Limo, Volume 1. Unfortunately, it would prove to be the only volume, as Doug died of a heart attack in late 1999.
It was a wonderful 10 years. That I was in the band. After Doug died, it wasn't the same anymore. But we still toured, without Doug. We used a couple other guys, a couple guys from Nashville, and we toured a little bit. But it wasn't the same after that, man.
So let's celebrate the music of the Texas Tornadoes, and let's continue to enjoy the new music from today's artists who are keeping the rockin' Tex-Mex tradition alive. Here are the Mavericks with Flaco.
My next guest won a Grammy this year for Best Country Group. Their current CD is called Music for All Occasions. They're performing tonight with, I want to sing with Flaco Jimenez. Please welcome the Mavericks.
Ever since you first walked out the door, and I just started drinking to forget, but I don't
All right, folks. Well, welcome back. And my next guest is the one and only Grammy Award winner, country superstar, my good friend, Mr. Rick Treviño. How you doing, Rick?
I'm doing good, man. Doing good. Just trying to stay out of the heat. It's hotter than heck out here in Austin.
And it was 106 earlier here in San Antonio.
You know, personally, we're doing fine. It's just, you know, it's hard when you, as you know, when you're not out there playing for the fans, and when you're not, because that's all I know is
that's all we've done. Yeah.
Is my work for the past 30 years is play shows and make a living and tour and record and things like that. And
it seems like maybe when we did Super 7, I guess, is when you sang in Spanish, and I mean, even on your other country stuff you sang in Spanish too. But that's when you kind of more did more of a Mexican roots or Tex Mex project was in Super 7, and after that, even on your new recordings, I know that you have some songs that you've sang in Spanish, and you're really kind of grasping your roots, your cultural roots. You want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, I mean, I was fortunate, and then at the same time, not fortunate to have a really big moment in when I was very young. I was probably 20 years old when I got started recording with Columbia out of Nashville, and it was great in the sense that it was a wonderful opportunity, and we were able to string a few hits together, and we were able to get on the map in the mainstream country format. It almost seemed like, in hindsight, though, that I was lucky in a sense that I didn't really have I hadn't quite hit my stride in hindsight as a true songwriter, and I was just starting to write songs at the time. And so at the same time, it's looking back, it's like didn't have the identity, and I wasn't really saying the things that I wanted to say. Just didn't have the artistic, and I wasn't really in my wheelhouse 100% like I am right now in terms of songwriting. But it was a great place to start, and it was a great place to to woodshed and to pay my dues. And so towards through the 90s, and then of course Super 7 was around 99, 2000 is when I really feel like I kind of departed from the expanded is a better way to put it, and meeting you guys and meeting David and Caesar and Steve and the Los Lobos guys, and then of course meeting Raul, who produced the next two country records for me in 2003 and through 2007. It's still evolving in my opinion. I guess the thing that I feel is that my story, I'm still writing my story, and which is kind of cool. I feel artistically like my juices are flowing, and I still have lots of things I want to say.
Yeah, man.
But yeah, so the Super 7 was after the 90s country stuff. Super 7 was around 2000 or so. And then I also had two more country records with Warner Brothers Nashville, and then kind of broke off on my own and started writing and making records here in Austin. So that's what I've got. That's what I've been doing the past 10 years or so.
I remember the time where I actually was playing in your band, and then now you're sometimes a special guest with my band, and it's a beautiful thing, and we can do that. And I remember back you were collaborating with Raul Malo and writing some songs and stuff, and fantastic songs, man, like Olivia. I remember when you wrote that song and then you recorded it, and and now we find ourselves sitting in a hotel room with Flaco, and then you come up with this amazing song called "I Am a Mexican," man, which is a powerful identity song, man. I think it's a fabulous song, man.
We were in doing a Super Bowl festivities when it was in Arizona. We were playing the Super Bowl week, and we did our show somewhere, I forgot where it was, but it was an outdoor kind of festival. And then that night we had a few beers in my hotel room with you and Flaco. And I played the song, and pretty much Flaco produced the song. I mean, he basically did it right there in the hotel room, because I was playing it a little bit more like a ranchera, and Flaco pretty much slowed it down and said, let's play it a little bit more like a bolero. And so we kind of slowed it down, and he said, because he wants to really hear those lyrics.
Yeah.
And so I just remember, so I just took that recording that we did in the hotel room and just took it to the studio, and that's how I recorded the song.
Have the honor to have recorded my bajo sexto on this special video of Rick Treviño. And Rick, you want to introduce the song?
Yeah, this is the video that I shot and recorded here in Austin, Texas, called I'm a Mexican, with special guest, 7-time Grammy Award winner, Flaco Jimenez.
Far away from home, day after day on my knees, I work my hands to the bone. All of my sweat and my tears water her crops and fields, but she's only seeing one thing whenever she looks at me. I am a Mexican, God bless America. She says my back is wet, I say it's honest sweat. I run from La Migra, angry at me, and I'm so much trouble. She can call me illegal, but I am no criminal. Now all that I hear her say is go back to Mexico. But what would she do without me if I should ever go? I am a Mexican, God bless America. She says my back is wet, I say it's honest sweat. I run from La Migra, por mi familia, a made in America man. I am a Mexican, I run from La Migra, por mi familia, a made in America man. I am a Mexican.
My dad got me into formal piano lessons when I was about 5 years old, and I took piano lessons till I was in college, classical music. But my dad, he was always expressing this idea not to just do your piano lesson, because he said you're going to get bored. He says, play songs that you like on the radio and learn them by ear, and sing to all the artists that you like to sing to, and don't just do, because you'll get tired of taking piano lessons if you do that.
who were your Tex-Mex influences, Rick? Because I know, besides of course, your father and the Neto Perez band, of course, and besides that, who were some of your Tex-Mex influences?
Well, the very first memory, especially here in Austin, was I remember my dad taking me to see Little Joe. Of course, that wouldn't be considered as Tex-Mex, but I mean, I don't know if you would define it precisely as Tex-Mex music, but it is definitely.
I would say 100% so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Little Joe.
Yeah. So Little Joe was my very first kind of experience watching, seeing him at the Austin Aquafest.
He had that's what. Well, he's always had the horn sections and all that.
Yep. That's what. And my dad and he and my dad had a good rapport. And of course, meeting Ruben Ramos and the Revolution when I was first just started playing in town here in Austin in the clubs. I would see Ruben play at Dessau Hall. I got to meet him and hear him, and it's pretty amazing when you see how great the musicians are that play in these big band Tejano Tex-Mex bands. Great jazz musicians, great vocalists. Some of the arrangements of some of those, especially like Ruben's. What's Ruben's album? That he has Paloma Negra. He does the mariachi.
Yeah. Yes, that's a great album.
Yep.
There was an album that we both collaborated on, one of his albums. It might have been that one or maybe one after that. And I know you sang what was the name of that song? Anyway, you sang a duet with Ruben.
Yeah. Still, I was immersed. I was able to, do songs with Freddy Fender, do a duet with him, being able to play with Flaco, being able to kind of have my first recording experiences with at Las Manitas before the Low Super 7 record hit. That was a big kind of a game changer for me, being able to do those shows at South by Southwest at Las Manitas with you.
I remember? Yeah.
Yeah. Doug Sahm, Augie.
You just never knew who was going to walk into that little place,
Yeah. It was such a cool. It was kind of what spawned Low Super 7 was the Las Manitas.
Did you feel a bond with Freddie when you guys were in the studio singing together? It was. I was watching you guys and it felt good, man. So. Yeah,
I mean, I always felt like there was a kind of a father-son relationship there. He kind of had this paternal vibe, and I always looked up to him as a mentor from day one. I just was in awe of Freddie, and he just kind of took me under his wing. There were some Spanish dialect issues out in the language, like a lot of the guys that were there. But Freddie would say, "Hey, you this one word here, you got to make sure you say it like this." And he never said it in a way that was condescending or anything,
Yeah, it's kind of coaching you along, I guess.
Yeah, coaching me along and stuff, and yeah, I always felt very, very comfortable with Freddie, and he was always, like I said, very mentor, kind of had a mentor vibe around me.
That's cool. And Freddie, they some say he's the king of Tex-Mex music. That was the thing with Freddie. His voice allowed him to enter different genres. He made it in the pop scene. He made it in the country scene and Tex-Mex scene. And that's where I see you, man. You can sing whatever, man. I've heard you sing some of the South America style of singing. When you did one of the Super 7 albums, I guess.
Yeah, Canto was more of a tropical type record.
Yeah.
Pan Latin. It wasn't really a Texas sounding record. It was more Pan Latin, kind of Cuban record.
Right. You're good, brother. All right. There it is. One and only Grammy Award winner, country superstar, extraordinary voice, Mr. Rick Treviño, man. Thank you, Rick.
Peace.
dejamos hace tiempo, pero me llegó el momento de perder. Tú tenías mucha razón, le hago caso al corazón y me muero por volver. Y volver.
All right, back again and ready to dig even deeper into Tex-Mex roots. Lydia Mendoza, born in 1916 in Houston, Texas, played guitar as a young girl in local restaurants and barbershops playing for tips. Had a family band that went out to San Antonio, Texas to audition for a record label. In 1928, they were signed to the OK record label. A few years later, Lydia was signed to her own record contract for Bluebird Records. That was in 1934. Her music was really grounded in traditional Mexican music, but as a Texas-born Mexican, she was a huge inspiration to other artists who had similar backgrounds. It gave a strong sense of identity to so many as being a Mexican-American. Let's listen now to the legend Lydia Mendoza.
Bueno, en esta noche voy a tener el gusto de cantarles para ustedes la primera canción que llevé yo a la grabación. Fue allá por el 1932 cuando grabé yo esta primera canción, la cual sigue viviendo, como dije hace unos momentos, en el corazón de todos ustedes. La canción de Mal Hombre. Era yo una chiquilla todavía cuando tú casualmente me encontraste a merced a tus artes de mundano. De mi honra el perfume te llevaste, luego hiciste conmigo lo que todos los que son como tú con las mujeres. Por lo tanto, no extrañes que yo ahora en tu cara te diga lo que eres. Mal hombre, ruines tu alma que no tiene nombre. Eres un canalla, eres un malvado, eres un mal hombre. A mi triste destino abandonada, entablé fiera lucha con la vida. Ella recia y cruel me torturaba, yo más débil al fin caí vencida. Tú supiste a tiempo mi derrota, mi espantoso calvario conociste. Te dijeron algunos voy a salvarle y probando quién eres te reíste. Mal hombre, arruines tu alma que no tiene nombre. Eres un canalla, eres un
malvado, eres un mal hombre.
One of my best friends is a fellow originally from Temple, Texas, named Little Joe. He's the 7th son of a sharecropper. He grew up picking cotton in the Texas cotton fields. He mixes country and Mexican music better than probably anybody I know. And the fact that he's a Texas boy probably has a lot to do with that. But I think it's because he's real people. And real people are fun to be with and fun to play music with. So would you please welcome mi amigo, Little Joe, and La Familia.
Y dicen que voy a morir. Mentira, no me hace nada si ella me quiere seguir. Porque la quise y la quiero y nunca la podré olvidar. Su marido anda diciendo que a traición me ha de matar. Borrarle el intento, yo me la voy a llevar a pasar la temporada y después se la vuelvo a traer. Consentida, recelo no tengas ya. Si yo he de perder la vida, después tu Dios la tendrá. La suerte a los dos nos toca y piensa solo en mi querer. Tu marido ya no sola, tú vas a ser mi mujer.
How about that? Tejano Hall of Famer, Little Joe, introduced by the man, Willie Nelson. Going back to 1955 for Little Joe. Over the years, he's performed as Little Joe and the Latinaires, Little Joe y La Familia, a solo act, and always a class act, Little Joe. And now, Freddy Fender. This next little clip, or series of clips, is something different. A Freddy supercut, I guess you could say. Let's have fun with Freddy. I'll let it speak for itself.
Tell us a bit about your recording and writing.
There's not much to say. I've done some writing and I've done some recording. That's about it.
he wrote probably the first real Tex Mex song, not because he's standing here, but yeah, the song a lot of people hear called "Oh Holy One." It came out in 1959. We always talk about each other now. Yeah, it came out in 59,
Yeah,
and we're all
religious song.
It was little
sing it?
Who's little white boys? Who's little white guys?
Who's gonna sing it? Only one, you'll never know how much I love you so. I guess you'll never, the reality will know. Only one, be mine.
It was that kind of shit. But anyway, yeah, 3 pieces.
Only one, you'll never know how much I love you so. I guess you'll never, the reality will know. Only one, be mine.
I used to play the accordion and sing Mexican songs, Chicano songs. And then I got into country music and I started blending my English with Chicano, you know. And also, you know, songs from the 50s or the rock. And I came out with what you may call Tex Mex rockabilly. First record I ever cut was back in 1956. Then I had Wasted Days and Wasted Nights out in 59. And it wasn't until 15 long years before I had my first big hit, Before the Next Teardrop Falls.
If she brings you happiness, you know I wish you both the best.
It's your happiness that matters most of all.
But if she ever breaks your heart,
If the teardrop ever starts,
I'll be there before the next teardrop falls. I was in my car on my way to a recording session when I heard Freddy Fender's voice for the first time. I had never heard anything like it.
but if he ever breaks your heart, if the teardrops ever start, I'll be there before the next teardrop falls.
I was playing the guitar on one track, the bass on another track, my son was playing drums, and I was playing rhythm on another track, and I was doing voice on one track, and voices on another track for harmony and to make it sound like a band because I didn't have the money to afford a band.
Lo más bueno pa' los dos.
I just pulled over the side of the road and listened till the song was over because I was afraid I'd wreck if I didn't. As soon as I got to the studio, I called the station WSM to see who was singing it. I went out that afternoon, bought it, and I practically wore the wax off of it from then on.
After Before the Next Teardrop Falls, you know, things began to change. Now, if I want to, thank God, I can put a T-bone steak right next to my pinto beans. Yum, yum, yum.
Es puro tejano, también mexicano.
No se imaginan qué lugares tan bonitos que conocemos en nuestras vidas.
Le dan más que mucho, sin que gaste macho. Panchos, Tex Mex, buffet. Ay, ay, ay. Goodbye, Joe, me gotta go, me, oh my, oh. We gotta go, full speed, road down the bayou. My yeet found the sweetest one, me, oh my, oh. Son of a gun, we'll have big fun on the bayou. Depot dope, Fontano, and the place is buzzing. Kinfolk can't see behind by the dozen. Dressed in style and go hog wild, me, oh my, oh. Son of a gun, we'll have big fun on the bayou. Jambalaya, a crawfish pie, and a peely gumbo. For tonight I'm gonna see my Machado Mio. Big guitar, feel for jar and piquillo. Son of a gun, we'll have big fun on the bayou. Voy a ponerle su jardina pancha, mamá, pero que sea de flores coloradas, mamá, a que se piquen toditas las casadas, mamá, solo los ojos de pancha y no más. Everything gonna be alright, now get me a P-roll.
I'm gonna get me all the fish on the bayou. Take my mind to Ivan watching me do. Son of a gun, we'll have big fun on the bayou. Jambalaya, crawfish, fine, a peely gumbo. For tonight I'm gonna see Mama Charamia. Big guitar, feel for jar and big ale. Son of a gun, we'll have big fun on the bayou.
Flaco Jimenez. He's written a new hit song called Blue Jeans, a teasing number about Mexican Americans who want to be part of the great American dream.
Todas las muchachas usan pantalón, es la nueva moda y tienen razón. No se ponen medias, usan calcetín. Anda muy de moda el pantalón blue jean. Mañana una boda vi, vestidos a la moda como se usa aquí. Padrinos y madrinas era un gran festín, hasta el padrecito andaba en blue jeans. Lugar, toditos con la moda que no tiene fin, andamos luciendo el pantalón blue jean.
Thank you, music lovers. All right. Yeah, cool. All right. And how about that? Had to squeeze in a little more Flaco there. Hope you didn't mind that. Oh, I dig it. I was just told that I have a little more time, so let's do this. I'm going to go grab a couple of tapes, and I'll be back in a flash with some 70s and 80s VHS recordings recorded right off the TV of some Tex Mex rarities, and dare I say it, a couple norteño songs. Okay. I'll be right back.
So my next guest is Mr. Hey Baby Kip and So himself, the one and only Mr. Augie Meyers, living legend, man. Augie, how you doing?
Hanging in there, Max. How you doing?
I'm hanging in there, considering I'm doing miserably well. And throughout your career, you've played so many different styles of music, man. You've played country, played rock and roll. So how does a rock and roll cat playing from the Sir Douglas Quintet come to play an accordion? Because you become what they call the king of the white boy polka, man. So how does the rock and roller come from rock and roll to picking up an accordion and actually playing Tex-Mex music?
Well, my dad was a refrigeration man. He traveled all over Texas. And I used to go with him sometime. And he always called me boy. He said, boy, he said, you play that kind. He always listened to nothing but conjunto music on the radio. He said, you play that kind of music and you're going to go somewhere. And I said, well, I'm serious. And I said, well, Dad, I'm playing piano and guitar, playing country music and a little bit of rock and roll and stuff. He says, but get you an accordion.
That's the cool thing about Augie, man, about what you do, Augie, is every album that you record, it's not covers. It's all original music that you write, man. And so props to you on that, man. And I know that, you influenced me and my brother when I was back in New Mexico, living in Albuquerque. And, when you wrote Hey Baby, ¿Qué pasó? So me and my brother recorded it, and because we dug it, man, it was a cool tune and it was really popular. And but yeah, man. So I guess throughout the years, you managed to do something really cool that nobody's ever done, man. And that's, with your Tex-Mex roots, okay, you played accordion, of course, but then in a sense you played bajo too, because you managed to get your Vox organ from the rock and roll thing and incorporate it with like the Texas Tornadoes and record it in these polkas and stuff, man. And you're pretty much playing like what a bajo would play, right? You're doing the changs and stuff. Like I say, like She's About to Mover. That's a perfect example. I would say that's a rock and roll Tex-Mex rock and roll song because of the way you're flamping the Vox organ like a bajo. Chang, 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 chang. So, man, that's a brilliant, it's a brilliant concept, man. How many albums would you say, or CDs or records would you say you've recorded on your own?
About 17, and there was no middleman.
Yeah.
Except my wife, But I did a lot of albums, with Bob Dylan, Tom Waits, Glenn Campbell, Sweethearts of the Rodeo. I can name some more people, but I just,
Yeah, that's cool, man. And one of the cool albums that I like was White Boy was a great album. Also,
that was a blues album. It got nominated for a Grammy, but a guy named Babyface won me out. Everybody said, Augie, it'll never go. White Boy trying to play polka music. And when people tell me it'll never go, that's when I go.
Yeah.
Everybody listened to a different drummer,
So, so what's in store now, Augie? I know that you're working on a new album, and I was honored to be a little bit a part of it. And when do you plan to get that?
Well, me and Flaco got this album we're working on, and you put your Vajo on, and you're going to go back in the studio. We want some more stuff on you done it, and then we're going to be through at that. And I've got a project I'm doing with just me and the piano, no bass, drums, and guitars, just me and the piano, violins, and cellos. It's my original tune, real nice laid back album. And then I've got 9 tunes on my new blues album, and I've got 8 more polka albums, and I've got like 6 or 7 country albums to go for the next album. So the studio's been closed. Joe just opened up his, so you could go in there. But I'm doing different projects at different studios, So, but a lot of studios been closed with all this epidemic. And I got another song, and my wife don't like me to do it. Called it says, "You used to be on my mind, now you just get on my nerves. You used to look so fine, but you're running out of curves."
Hey baby, ¿qué pasó? How did that come about, Augie? Big hit, man. It was.
Well, I was dating this lady, and she said, "Why do you play that Mexican music?" I said, "Because I like it." She said, "I don't." I said, "There's the door, sweetheart." And she left, and I didn't see her for like 4 or 5 months. And this Que Paso come out, it was #1 in San Antonio and all around. She called me. She said, "All my friends are listening to that song. That my kids are singing it. Everybody's singing it. Can I get a copy?" I said, "Yeah, you can buy it at Walmart." She hung up on me.
That's awesome. So okay, cool. So yeah, so we did this video with Que Paso, and I guess we'll go ahead and play it for the folks out there listening in. Augie Meyers, you can introduce the song.
Well, this is a song, man, that me and Max did at his little studio called the Max Baca and the Maniac Studio. I always call Max Rocka Baca. And anyway, it's called "Hey Baby, Que Paso." Hope you like. I hope you enjoy it, man. Thank you for your time. Appreciate it, and be safe.
Hey everybody, I'm Augie Meyers, and I'm here with the Lost Tex Maniacs, and I'm gonna do this song for y'all, for everybody, because we're all in this together. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hey baby, que paso? Thought I was there on the front. Hey baby, que paso? Come on baby, turn around. Let me see your pretty brown eyes. Don't you know that I love you? And my course
right, Big Sandy back again with our bonus round. I've got a 3-pack of TV delights direct from VHS. And to me, there's something charming about the low-key production or the no-key production values of these performances. Okay, let's get into it now with a group from a town near Los Indios, Texas, which is right down at the very bottom tip of the state. Here's Freddy Gomez y Los Dinámicos.
Se me destroza el corazón en mil pedazos. Me siento solo como la pluma en el aire. ¿De qué me sirve ya la vida en este mundo si ya no tengo las caricias de mi madre? Cuando yo andaba disfrutando de placeres, jamás pensaba que una madre es lo primero. Hoy que Diosito me quitó mi pobre madre, sé que una madre no se compra con dinero. Yo no cambiaba ni por 1000 puñados de oro las bendiciones y el cariño de mi madre. De sangre viva son las lágrimas que lloro, pero es inútil porque ya le lloro tarde. No hay un tesoro más valioso en este mundo como es la madre que nos dio el ser y la vida. De su cariño no se aprecia hasta que muere, se llora siempre y cuando ya se ve perdida. Yo no cambiaba ni por 1000 puñados de oro las bendiciones y el cariño de mi madre. De sangre viva son las lágrimas que lloro, pero es inútil porque ya le lloro tarde.
All right, a little Mex to go with the Tex. I had to throw in a couple of norteño bands because I like them. And because I had those tapes. That was Ramon Ayala y Los Bravos del Norte. Still very popular throughout Texas. And before that, from Nuevo León, Los Cadetes de Linares. And that'll do it for me here. If I were you, I would stick around to the end, though. I'm going to do that. Thank you for tuning in here today. Thanks for your donations. And if you haven't had a chance to do that yet, this might be a good time for that. Thanks to Max Baca for hosting the show and to all the guests that we had today. Another great eclectic American roots. I'll see you next week, friends. Thank you, Christopher Burkhardt, and we'll see you around. Y'all take care of yourselves. Bye for now.
That's our show, folks. Hope you enjoyed learning all there is to know about Tex-Mex music yesterday and today. You know, we really appreciate all those great donations you guys are sending our way, and we make sure it gets to the musicians. They're the ones that don't have any gigs anymore. They're the ones that matter. And that's why we put on these shows, Eclectic American Roots, to support our musician friends. For more information on this show and other shows like it, go to Stellar Jack's channel on YouTube, Stellar Jax, J-A-X. If you are interested in live music as well as streaming music, we continue to put on live shows on a regular basis at Campus Jax in Newport Beach. For more information on those shows, just go to stellarshows.net. So until next time, remember, keep those masks on tight, and we'll see you down the road.